Waifus are fictional female characters that a person has an attachment to. The male equivalent to them are called husbandos. It's a term that's spread around predominantly in the anime community and otaku culture. A person may have more than just one waifu if they choose to do so, though others may consider this a no-no. The polygamy of waifus is not uncommon and not too big of a concern, as there are an abundance of characters that are considered waifu material, characters that have the qualities of a good waifu. But why would anyone want to have a waifu in the first place? How did it come to be? How has it evolved over the years of anime culture, and how has it influenced the community to be where it is today? While I don't have a PhD in waifuism and degeneracy, and I don't watch anime as avidly as I used to back in my teenage years, I can at least shed my opinions, analysis, and conclusions on the topic. While this video isn't aimed towards avid anime fans which may disagree with my opinions on the topic, this is for people that are curious and for those that want to get into anime culture. The idea of a waifu started out before the word was even coined. During the turn of the century, you had shows like Ranma 1/2 and Urasera Yasura, which had girls that were charming in their own rights. People would love the cast just like any person would love the characters of a show. But of course, people would throw the idea of liking a fictional character around to make fun of those that had an obsession with the show. With the millennium coming about, we had anime shows like Fruit Basket and Love Hina, which took the fandom for their character, took a romantic spin on it, and made it the focal point of the series, which we call the harem genre. Then in 2002, Azumanga Daioh came out and gave us this.
Ah! Nanda? 女の人の写真。綺麗な人やな。誰?
My waifu.
With the internet being the internet, it spread around the world at a quick pace. The term waifu was being used on online forums and in local otaku culture groups around the world. Since the late 2000s, people started knowing what waifus were. As more and more people acknowledged waifuism, people started to actually have waifus. While I don't speak for every weeb out there, or really anyone for that matter, I can talk from experiences of waifuism around me. It was back in high school where my best friend and I were avid anime fans. We were a part of our high school anime club, which then got us into our own little anime niche. One of my friends loved to watch a show called Ori-Imo, and he'd always talk about Ayase. He'd soon pick up posters, figurines, and other weeby things related to her. While I had not talked to him directly about why he'd liked Ayase, he clearly had an obsession with her, and maybe took the obsession a bit too far. It wasn't until he got a girlfriend after high school did the obsession stop with Ayase. It's fair to say that in my friend's case, he may have desired some relationship with a person as such. For myself, I do have a favorite anime character. I used to watch Kino no Tabi, or Kino's Journey, and I loved the pacing of the show, seeing her journeying through each land, seeing the area, and understanding the people she met. I felt such a strong connection with the series, as that was something I would have liked to have done during my teenage years, to travel and meet with different people. Some would jokingly say that Kino was my waifu, but she really was the character that I just aspired to. It can also just happen to people, where there are a few extreme cases of people saying or claiming that a character in a series would be their literal wife. They're there to fill a void in a person's life, be a desire to feel some emotions or some other strong feelings. Even with all of this, waifuism is a joke. Some people may transition from my experience to my friend's experience, or some people will straight up go full-blown weeb. In essence, some people slowly build up into having a waifu if they choose to do so, or it just may come naturally to them. But ultimately, having affection for a character, aesthetically, or for what the character represents, gives a basis for one to potentially have a waifu. Now that we understand how waifus may come to be, we can see how they've influenced people over the years. As it's always been a term that's been thrown around in the anime community since its inception, the perception surrounding waifu has changed over the past decade. Before, it was a term that jokingly meant that people had an affection for a character in the early mid-2000s, but soon after word got caught on the street in the late 2000s about what waifus were, people started using the term to refer to a stronger admiration for a character. As the years progressed, it became a term, just loosely thrown in some circles, to be a lovable female character in a series, which is how Best Girl could have been coined. With waifus becoming more well-known, it became a bigger part of anime culture over time, to the point where it's not really a surprise when someone exclaims that they have a waifu. In fact, during my time with the anime community on and off, it became somewhat of a defining part of the anime community and otaku culture. Now when people watch anime, some people immediately look for the girl in the series that's considered waifu material and latch onto her like she's a goddess. While this has happened in the past and previous generation of anime fans, it is much more common now. And in fact, one can say that it has shifted people's perception of anime, willing to watch trashy animes just as long as they are cute girls. This joke has ingrained itself into anime culture. It's something that pops up in conversations, with those that may say it's a part of the reason why they watch a few anime series in the first place. If there is anything good that has come out of waifuism, it would be the shift in emphasis on character development that has occurred throughout the years. It's more and more about these characters that develop and grow, making anime more about the characters rather than the plot. Emphasis is placed on the fact that Rem from ReZero goes through fighting for her love and dying in the process multiple times just to make sure that her love is alright, which makes her such a good waifu. How Zero 2 goes through all the shit she went through just to be with her darling, and in spite of losing her memory, going through her hardships, she gets to be with him after so long. Waifuism has erected the emphasis on the viewer's attention to the character's actions and intent, putting the character's growth and journey at a higher spotlight. With regards to other type of anime not of the isekai and or adventure genre, it garners interest from people towards the series even more. You have people that are possibly awaiting the next season of the series just because they like Toru from Kobayashi's Maid Dragon, or the next season of Origaru because Yukino is best girl, which she is. Because people are jokingly referring to characters as being waifu material, they become the focal point of the series, making them quite memorable and people dedicated to the development within the series. In the end, it's done good for the anime community, in spite of it being a joke. It's maintained interest in long series, with memorable characters that have made the community members passionate about the anime series they've been dedicated to. Let's hope for the next years to come, people will always be defending their waifus, and arguing about how other waifus are, well, trash.